Hello and welcome to the Photography Instructor Show, the podcast for all things photography and filmmaking. I'm your host, Saurav, a passionate content creator and a photography educator dedicated to helping you master the art and craft of visual storytelling. Whether you're a beginner, eager to learn the basics, a seasoned pro looking to refine your skills, or somewhere in between, this podcast is for you. Each episode, I dive deep into techniques, tips, and the latest trends in the industry. From lighting and composition to editing and equipment, I have got you covered. Plus, you'll hear inspiring stories and insights from industry experts and fellow creatives who share their journey and expertise. So, grab your camera, get comfortable, and let's explore the fascinating world of photography and filmmaking together. This is the Photography Instructor Show, where learning meets creativity.
In today's episode, we are diving into one of the most common questions photographers ask: shutter priority versus aperture priority. Which is right? Why? And when should we use them? Whether you're a beginner or an advanced shooter, understanding these semi-automatic modes is a very key to unlock your camera's potential. So, let's break it down. What are shutter priority and aperture priority? Let's start with the basics. Both shutter priority and aperture priority are semi-automatic modes on your camera, meaning you control one aspect of the exposure triangle while the camera takes care of your rest. Shutter priority mode, which is symbolized by S or TV or known as time value in your camera. This mode allows you to set the shutter speed while the camera adjusts the aperture to properly expose the image. It's perfect for controlling motion, whether you want to freeze action or you want to create a motion blur. Aperture priority, which is also symbolized by A or AV aperture value in your camera. In aperture priority, you choose the aperture and the camera sets the shutter speed for the correct exposure. This mode is all about controlling the depth of field, whether you want a creamy background blur or sharp focus throughout your image. Both modes give you the creative control without the full responsibility of shooting in manual mode. But which one should you use and when? That's what we are exploring next. When to use shutter priority? Shutter priority is all about controlling motion. Here are some scenarios where this mode shines. Freezing action. Shooting sports, wildlife, or kids at play. Set a fast shutter speed, like 1/1000th of a second or faster, to freeze the action. Your camera will handle the aperture to balance the exposure. Creating motion blur. For artistic shots of waterfalls, light trails, or dynamic scenes, slow your shutter speed to about 1/30th or even lower for a second or slower. Don't forget to use a tripod to avoid camera shake. Now let me explain those with certain examples. Imagine photographing a cyclist. A fast shutter speed will freeze them mid-motion, while a slow shutter speed can capture a sense of speed with motion blur. One thing to watch out is for your depth of field. Since the camera chooses the aperture, you might end up with a larger or smaller depth of field than intended. But if your priority is motion, this is your go-to mode. Now, when to use aperture priority? Aperture priority, on the other hand, is all about controlling the depth of field. This is perfect when your main focus is the relationship between your subject and the background. Portrait photography. Want that beautiful blurry background, also known as bokeh? Use a wider aperture like f2.8 or f1.8 to isolate your subject from the background. Landscape photography. For sharp focus throughout the scene, use a narrow aperture like f11 or f16 or even higher. This ensures everything from the foreground to the horizon is in focus. Let me give you an example. Think of a portrait shot with the subject's face sharply in focus, while the background melts away into a dreamy blur. or a landscape where every rock, tree, mountain, river is crisp and clear. Just remember, the camera controls the shutter speed in this mode. In low light, this might result in slower shutter speeds and potential blur from hand-holding your camera. A tripod or image stabilization can help you here. Next up, choosing the right mode, shutter or aperture priority. So, how do you decide which mode to use? It depends on your creative goal and shooting conditions. Prioritizing motion, go shutter priority. If your primary goal is to freeze or slow motion, shutter priority is your best bet. Think action, sports, or long exposure shots. Now, prioritizing depth of field, go aperture priority. If controlling how much of your scene is in focus matters most, aperture priority is the way to go. Think portraits, landscapes, or even macro photography. It's also worth mentioning that lighting conditions play a very, very important role. In bright environments, both modes work well. But in low light, you'll need to be more mindful of your ISO settings and whether your camera can handle slower shutter speeds or wider aperture. Now let me address some common questionnaires which you all might have. Can I use shutter priority for portraits? Technically yes, but it's not ideal. Aperture priority is better for portraits because it lets you control the depth of field for that beautiful background blur. What's a good starting point for wildlife photography? Start with shutter priority and a speed of 1/1000th of a second or even faster to freeze motion. Adjust ISO as needed to maintain proper exposure. Now my final thoughts. Which is right, shutter priority or aperture priority? The answer is both. It depends upon your creative goals and the situation you are shooting in. Mastering these modes will give you the confidence to handle almost any shooting scenario.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Photography Instructor Show. I hope you found it informative and inspiring. Remember, the journey of mastering photography and filmmaking is a continuous one, filled with endless possibilities and creativity. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback will help me grow and reach more inspiring photographers and filmmakers just like you. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn for more tips, learning, and updates on the upcoming episodes. Until next time, keep capturing those amazing moments and crafting your unique stories. This is Saurav, signing off from the Photography Instructor Show. Keep creating, keep learning, and keep inspiring.